has happened from former President Uhuru Kenyatta in Trans Nzoia rejecting the sponsor tag, Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna denying Uhuru is funding Linda Mwananchi, and is there goon crisis in the country? Good evening, and I hope you're well. Welcome to Obina TV Updates News Live. My name is Magin Tumia. On to our news. Retired President Uhuru Kenyatta used his Sunday appearance in Kitale, Trans Nzoia County, at the 23rd memorial of the late Vice President Michael Kijana Wamalwa to defend Kenya's democratic gains. He rejected claims that he is bankrolling the opposition and called for peaceful, manifesto-driven campaigns ahead of 2027. Speaking to thousands of mourners and political leaders, Uhuru said attempts to disrupt opposition rallies amount to a rollback of hard-won freedoms, reminding Kenyans that figures like Wamalwa Kijana, Charity Ngilu, and Martha Karua fought for multi-party democracy, insisting that voters must be free to choose their leaders without fear. Uhuru said he has no interest in returning to active politics and is content with the 10 years he served as head of state. Meanwhile, Senator Sifuna has continued to refute Uhuru's involvement and insisting that he is funded by the people.
Tunaelewana. We are a democratic society, and those democratic ideals were fought for hard by the man, amongst others, who we honor today. Na hatuwezi kukubali turudi nyuma. Mutakubali kurudi nyuma? Mutakubali kurudi nyuma? Kama ni kuomba kura, tuombe kwa amani. Wananchi wana ujuzi wa kujua. Wakisema wanataka Kalonzo, ni Kalonzo. Wakisema wanataka Ruto, ni Ruto. Wakisema wanataka Matiang'i, ni Matiang'i. Wakisema wanataka Sifuna, Sifuna. Jameni chungeni. Mimi sitaki kuitwa sponsor bana. Mimi sitaki mambo mingi. Mimi nimesema ya kwamba chaguo ni la nani? Chaguo ni la nani? Na hakuna haja ya kulazimisha Mkenya yeyote kwenda upande huu au upande huu. Wakenya watajichagulia wenyewe. Na mimi naomba viongozi wa kisiasa tuende kwa wananchi kwa amani. Tuhubiri yale ambaye tuko naye kwa amani. Hii mambo ya kuzuia wengine kufanya mikutano, ya kufanya nini ni kurudisha Kenya nyuma. Na tunataka kusonga mbele. Kama unataka kura, omba kwa unyenyekevu. Wananchi watakupatia ama wakunyime. Hata mimi niliomba na nikanyimwa. Nikarudi tena nikaomba nikapewa. Ama ni namna gani? Na watu wasiseme ya kwamba yale ambaye nasema mimi naingilia siasa. Mimi sina haja na kiti yeyote. Tunaelewana? Mimi nashukuru Mungu kwa ile miaka amenipea kuwa kwa uongozi, na nawashukuru wa Kenya kwa kunipatia hiyo nafasi. Hii nafasi sasa ni ya wengine, na Wakenya wenyewe ndio wataamua ni nani. Lakini wajue ya kwamba unajua kila mtu anaweza kusema anataka, lakini Mungu anaamua ni mtu mmoja peke yake. Wakitaka mema wajaribu kutafuta njia ya kuungana, watembee pamoja na waheshimiane. Si ni kweli? Tumekubaliana. Kwa hivyo kwa sababu ya hali ya anga, na bado kuna wengine labda mnataka kusikia sauti yao, mimi nasema Kitale, Mungu awabariki. Mungu aendelee kulinda marehemu hayati kijana Wamalwa. Aendelee kulinda familia yake na aendelee kushikilia taifa la Kenya. Na nyinyi wa Kenya msikubali kugombanishwa. muungane, mukaya kama kitu kimo. Mungu awabariki na walinde. Asanteni sana. Thank you.
Gachagua has raised fresh concerns over the integrity of the 2027 general election, alleging that the Ruto administration is planning to introduce a new system that could be used to rig the polls. Speaking at his Wamonyoro residence, Gachagua claimed a results transmission system contract had been tailor-made for a South Korean firm, and one that the company has a history of failures in elections where it has participated. He did not provide evidence, saying he was still waiting for more details before revealing further information. The Democracy for the Citizens Party leader also named Mining Cabinet Secretary Hassan Joho and IEBC Vice Chairperson Fahima Arafat Abdallah in connection with the allegations, though he offered no proof linking them to an election rigging scheme.
It's a plot to rig the 2027 general elections using the Korean Meru Technologies Limited system. Targeted harassment of small-scale gas traders. I've on several occasions brought to the attention of Kenyans on the systematic economic sabotage, deliberate harassment, state-sanctioned extortion, and impoverishment of the people of Kenya by this regime. Lost on its mandate and promises made in 2022, the regime is hell-bent to impoverish the very small-scale traders and the people on whose pedestal it ran. Today I want to speak to millions of small-scale traders in the gas industry who have for the last few weeks reached out to me after months of oppression and an extortion cartel. But before then, let me remind the people of Kenya that this regime was founded on the philosophy of bottom-up economic transformation agenda. But over the last 4 years, the regime is doing the exact opposite. The small trader, the Kenyan retailer, who was supposed to be moved from the bottom of the economic pyramid, now the retailer has been moved to the bottomless pit. Kenya has between 4 million to 5 million micro and small retail enterprises who hold dukas, kiosks, and market stores. They form a majority of neighborhood shops supplying daily household goods. This number is well over 60% of the medium and small enterprises market base. On 2nd March 2023, at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, William Ruto, during the launch of the Women Enterprise Fund, in the presence of hundreds of women, made the famous Mutungi ya gas promise that the price of the 6 kg gas cylinder would trade between 300 to 500 Kenya shillings from the then 2,800. This was to be effective from June 2023. Little did we know that he was planning to raid the trade and dominate it. For the last 2 years, small-scale gas have been put under ruthless state-sanctioned seizure, systematic harassment, and a total subversion of the regulatory framework and the guidelines for the retail of liquefied.
Police in Mombasa are hunting for suspects after a shooting incident near Bomu Stadium that left one person shot in the leg and 2 others with injuries. The trouble erupted as Governor Abdul Swamad Nasil was leaving a Tawisha Fund function for women when a group of rowdy youth stopped his convoy, turned impatient, and began chanting anti-Nasil slogans. Security officers first fired warning shots in the air, then towards the ground as the crowd remained unruly, in the process injuring 3 people. Investigators say a rival politician may have orchestrated the chaos, and while no names have been released, officers are tracing the key agitators and chanters who sparked the confrontation. Residents in Tudo and Bomu are being urged to cooperate with police, even as leaders call for calm and warn against using young people for political violence ahead of 2027 general elections.
They chanted one-term governor, And as the governor wanted to address them, they became violent. And that is where the fracas started.
Wale mabodyguard wakawa wanawasukuma hawa na walikuwa wametulia vizuri. Hata kuna mwenzangu hapa huyu ilikuwa kabisa yuko mbele. Alipokuwa yuko mbele akawa atakuongea naye, yule bodyguard akawa msukuma akatoa bunduki. Mimi ndo nimeona nikamzuia, akamwambia achana naye. Ilikuwa impate huyu akifondo, nikaanguka naye nikamrusha kando. Yule bodyguard kwa ile hasira akapiga chini hivi akaondengesha kwenye miguu.
Kwa kitendo kilichofanyika leo, siasa hizi mimi nashindwa. Gavana wangu mahali huko, why are your people wanatumia nguvu kwa siasa yako? Kesho kiambia one term unaona kuwa hatukupendi, lakini your people are really wanatukosea sana.
Unatuita sisi magoons. Hakuna goon, hakuna mtu alikuja na panga wala kisu, na hakuna mzazi mwenye kutaka mtoto wake we muuni. Hakuna mzazi aliozaa muizi ama muuni.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has drawn sharp criticism after telling political leaders to avoid holding rallies in areas where goons have threatened to attack, arguing that once security agencies issue a warning, organizers should simply reschedule or move the event to a safer venue. Speaking of the Homa Bay ambush that left 2 people dead, Murkomen questioned why the Linda Mwananchi team proceeded with their rally despite allegedly knowing that goons had been mobilized. Critics, however, say the CS is shifting the burden of security onto victims, with opponents asking why the state cannot identify and arrest the goons instead of telling leaders and citizens to simply stay away.
Montezuma Kabati, Goons wameblock kujia hapa, wanaitisha watu pesa hapa Montezuma Kabati.
There is no crisis in Kenya. Kenya is safe. Stop hyping. Stop the hyperbole. Stop creating a crisis that is not there. It's the figment of your imagination. Kenya is safe and will continue being safe. Huyu Orengo na Babu Owino na hiyo timu yenye walikuwa naenda Homa Bay, wanataka kudanganya nani? Si walikuwa wamekusanya 100 goons kutoka Nairobi. DCI akawashika kabla hawajafika Homa Bay. Alikuwa amesanya ile magoons kutoka Kisumu na Siaya, walishikwa kwa njiani na panga na marungu, na wengine sneak wakatembea na kina Orengo. Na wakati rais alikuwa anaenda Kondele hapo akiwa vice president akiomba kura, si alipikwa na goons. Mimi nilikuwa waziri, si Matiang'i alikuwa hapo? Kwani Matiang'i alikuwa amefunga macho? Hii Gachagua 2024 wakati alienda Kayole na kusanya goons kwenda kuiba mbuzi ya Uhuru, hakuwa anajua goons ni mbaya. Ni zaidi ndio amejua goons ni mbaya kwa Kenya. If this goons was a problem of common mwananchi, I could say it. Lakini these politicians 0.0001%, they want to make us to leave the work we are doing to only talk about goons. Please stop that conversation. For politicians, mwende muitane kwa bunge, mpigane ngumi kwa hapo, msilete kuja kupigana na wananchi kwa sehemu hii.
I really don't agree with you in terms of that the criminal activities and the goons activities have taken. If you check on the statistics, and we have the data, is that these are few individuals who are criminal in nature. They are criminals in nature. And we're going to deal with them. We've taken them to court.
Dear Interior Cabinet Secretary Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen, a few days ago, you stood before Kenyans and declared that this country does not have a goons crisis. You called those who say otherwise liars. You insisted Kenya is safe. Your Deputy Inspector General of Police, Eliud Lagat, added that no evidence links police officers to the disruption of opposition meetings or to protecting criminal gangs. Yet, the images keep coming. A few weeks ago, suspected goons blocked Thika Road at Pangani and brought one of Nairobi's busiest highways to a standstill. Then last week, it happened again. Goons blocked Thika Road around Delview, pelting motorists with stones. Further along the same corridor near Montezuma, Makeji, and Kabati. These are not isolated political rallies. These are ordinary Kenyans trying to go about their business on a major national highway. Mr. CS, Kenya sent police officers all the way to Haiti to help that country fight gang violence and restore order. We told the world we were going to rescue Haitians from Goonism. You say there is no goon crisis. The roads say otherwise. Kenyans are watching, and they are waiting for action that actually matches the statements. We are taking a short commercial break here on Obina TV Updates News Live. Do not touch that dial, because when we return, we'll discuss more about matters health and specifically endometriosis. See you after the break.
Where will I put my legs? I just see the picture, imekata.
Hey, no player. Who ni player? Eh? Why?
Ni my new fan first of all, and I'd say she's pretty.
Very.
She's very pretty.
Yeah.
Height pia imekubali.
Yake itakubali.
Chatu slide. Ndapata tu mse. Sunana amerudi. Acha.
Hata sijasikia vibaya. Hata sijasikia vibaya. Karibia. She's back. Guess who's back now? Who's back now? To back in the game now. Woo, 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 woo. Hey.
Lakini kwa sisi wa Kristo, sisi tunaruhusiwa bwana mmoja, bibi mmoja. Tamaa zako wewe kisebusebu na kiroho kipapo ndio umeenda ukajiingiza kwa pili na watatu na wanne. Na hata unajaibisha. Kwanza kenyewe kabebeneo kadogo. Kembamba hako kafupi, hakaingii popote. Hata unaenda ushuhuda mimi na waweza.
Ni kunyonya si kama sweet, ni kama tu sweet.
Nani alikwambia babu kuna ustaarabu?
Kuna ustaarabu wa kunyonya tena?
Wewe kwanza hujui kunyonya, maana ungekuwa unanyonya huo mdomo wako haungekuwa hivyo. Mdomo mweusi sema kwa una nini? Sasa hiyo unalia kama mtoto mdogo, mwanamume wa miaka 45. Wewe mwenyewe unang'ang'ana, mimi nitakufanyia kila kitu. Usijali. Nakuua, usiniue. Mimi sikuui babu.
Unafanya mimi na mtoto na nasikia ni kama yani.
Ukisisimka nenda kwa mkeo babu. Mimi huwezi.
Wow, are your walls looking plain and uninspired? Transform your space with premium wall panels, elegant marble PVC with stunning backlighting, and modern floating TV stands. All designed to give your home a luxurious, timeless finish. At Mr. Frames Kenya, we offer top quality designs at unbeatable prices. Whether you're going to a classic or modern look, we've got the perfect solution for your home or office. Call or WhatsApp us today on 0705 759 102 or connect with us on social media. Mr. Frames Kenya. Mr. Frames Kenya, where style meets affordability.
Bina TV Classifieds.
If you're looking for high-quality imported doors, Future Doors Limited is the place to be. From waterproof interior doors, premium exterior steel doors, French doors, mesh doors, and smart locks, you'll find a wide variety designed for every space. Whether you're building, renovating, or simply upgrading your home, you'll definitely find something that matches your style. Visit their showroom along Mombasa Road at ENS Business Park, 3rd floor. That is the same building as Quiver Mombasa Road, that is opposite MRM Mabati. Come experience the collection yourself.
Obina TV Classifieds.
What's up, everybody? Your guy, the top is in the building. Yo. Ona maneno. So unafika hapa mazee na kupanga masimu tuko nazo nini kila kitu iko live, all of these gadgets and many more. Look at all these other ones. These are the gadgets you should come and get from cityhub.co.ke. Tuko town. Brand new bay ni ya jioni, wambieni Obina amekutuma. Unashoot na simu, quality zipoa, inatetemeka, inafanya nini because you're not using the Insta360. So all of these amazing things unazipata hapo ndani. All the gizmos you need to make your content creation journey smooth, we got it. Pitia cityhub.co.ke. Karibu sana.
Obina TV Classifieds.
Welcome back. And now on to matters health. Endometriosis affects roughly 1 in 10 women of reproductive age. But in Kenya, the defining story in 2026 is affordability. Laparoscopic surgery, the most effective treatment for moderate to severe disease, typically costs between 350,000 Kenya shillings and over 1.5 million Kenya shillings, a range confirmed by patients and advocates after media personality Natalie Githinji's stage 4 diagnosis. With only about 5 trained laparoscopic gynecological surgeons nationwide, with only about 5 trained laparoscopic gynecological surgeons nationwide, most concentrated at national referral hospitals, access is limited and private sector prices remain out of reach for many. And now, to detail more about matters health, I want us to talk with obstetrician gynecologist Dr. Yamal Patel. We have him on call. Good evening, Dr. Yamal.
Good evening. How are you, Maggie?
I'm doing good. We are talking about matters endometriosis here, and I want people to understand a few things. So, if we may start, what is endometriosis?
Endometriosis, I would say I divide it into 2 definitions. One is a textbook definition, medical, and one is actually my definition, which is practical. So, textbook definition would be endometrium-like tissue growing outside the uterine cavity. So it means the lining that is shed out as periods every month, and the lining that prepares for pregnancy, that's the uterine lining. When it grows outside, when something like that, it's not exactly the same, grows outside the cavity in different parts of the body, that is endometriosis. However, my definition, it is chronic, it's fibrotic, it's inflammatory, infiltrative, grows into surrounding structures. It's hormone dependent, relies and grows with estrogen. It's progressive. It is a disease that life alters and is very debilitating. It's very complex and poorly understood. It's a disease of many theories. I would say it's benign, yet it behaves very radical like cancer, but it's not cancer. And it's often misdiagnosed and usually has a lot of delayed diagnosis. This is endometriosis for you.
Okay. Dr. What are some of the early signs of endometriosis?
The hallmark signs actually start with pain, usually initially around periods. So one thing that we always say is please never normalize periods. That's a very wrong practice that we should immediately stop telling our girls that this is normal, it will go away. Why are you being weak? Why are you being a sissy? Look at your sister. She doesn't complain. Why are you complaining? Well, that is one of the first signs, pain. Pain around periods. Then it could becomes changing towards pain with urine, pain with stool, depending on where it goes. Pain with sexual activity, pain in the back, pain during ovulation, pain sometimes that you will get in that is continuous, that's chronic pelvic pain. So pain is one. Secondly is heavy menstrual bleeding, heavy periods. And third could be related to fertility issues. They usually present with issues fertility.
Okay. Why does it often take some time for someone to get an accurate diagnosis of endometriosis?
It's a very complex disease to understand, and especially even more complex to find out. So what do I mean? Suspicion is supposed to be very high. So when you look at diagnosis in an endometriosis center with an endometriosis specialist, the gap between presentation and diagnosis is usually short, but world over, the average is 7 to 10 years. And probably in certain parts of Africa, including Kenya, it could even be longer. And the reason is that they usually have different presentations. Sometimes you would have someone with bowel issues going with pain in the bowel and they go to a colorectal or a gastro. Someone with urine issues because of bladder endometriosis is going to see a urologist. Someone has something near the diaphragm or the chest, is seeing a chest physician. So people have different, you present with gas as well or bloating feeling, and they are busy seeing different doctors. So in simple words, clinically, you have to have a suspicion. Secondly, diagnosis is basically by imaging, and the imaging is what makes it extremely tricky to diagnose in early stages. Number two is it is possible with advanced targeted mapping of the endometriosis done by an ultrasound, as simple as an ultrasound, but there are very few people who actually are able to do this type of a scan. And MRI reporting is also a challenge in many places. They are not able to find the subtle findings of endometriosis in the early stages. And it's often misdiagnosed with PID and other things as well, ovarian cyst, but actually it may not be that, it's actually endometriosis.
Okay. What are some of the myths and also misconceptions that people usually have about endometriosis?
There are lots of myths and misunderstandings. I would say some of the ones that are very typical are, pain is normal. Secondly is get pregnant, it will go. Third is it doesn't come very early in life. It is after a certain age, or it cannot be seen in women postmenopausal, or it goes away after menopause. And those are types of misconceptions that are very common in endometriosis. So these are some of the myths that actually are supposed to be definitely dealt with as soon as we can.
Okay. Daktari, what do you think should be done to make a difference for the people with this condition? Because right now it has become very, very rampant. Yeah.
So number one, I think the key to management of such condition that is, one, very difficult to diagnose, two, very difficult to treat, and is actually very debilitating to these women and girls, often affecting their life and daily quality of life, including going to school, college. They drop out, they become drug junkies, they are social, they go out of social circles because they cannot match in friend circles. They have marital issues because they cannot allow regular sexual intercourse. This type of situation needs to be tackled from the base. So what do I mean by base? Awareness, education, and talking freely about it. If this is done well, menstrual health is taught well in schools, and people are told what is normal and not normal. People are told how to make sure that they go for a consult soon after something is felt not normal in that. Including educating the medical fraternity, that if you find something like this, please suspect it and send immediately to referral centers and specialists who deal with such things. Because don't keep on handling it, because you'll see these women also have history of jumping from doctor to doctor, clinic to clinic, hospital to hospital, have multiple surgeries before finally an endometriosis specialist looks at her and says, why did you have 5 surgeries already?
Okay. You've talked about awareness. So far, do you think awareness is being done properly? And where do we still need to do better?
I think awareness has started coming up now. In the last couple of years, at least we know there is a lot of talk about it on social media. It started after Jambi Koikai's, event, and now we have Natalie Gidinji, and we also have many other scenarios where there are very many endometriosis advocates. We have so many support groups. We have the Endo Circle, we have the Endo Sisters, we have the Endo Foundations. There are so many scenarios, groups like these that actually are regularly talking about it. And I would say that we ourselves, through our hospital, Third Park Hospital, and our foundation, that we've been handling the endometriosis cases. We also go out to schools, colleges, churches, women's groups, and talk about this. We actually try to educate people as much as possible around this.
Okay.
We've done something called the TAC, the awkward conversation in schools. And we've actually gone and discussed with schoolgirls on a number of occasions, talking about what is not normal and what should immediately bring them to seek advice.
Yeah. I want us to talk about the treatment. What are the main treatment approaches, and how do doctors decide what's right for each patient?
So in treatment, I would say, the number one, get a proper diagnosis, and it's no longer staged as was previously in the past. I mean, we've moved away from staging to characterization of disease. So we now do what is called mapping, and mapping is in different parts. You would be able to map which areas are affected and what extent, and we grade that extent of involvement. The previous staging, which was the ASRM classification of 1, 2, 3, 4, is not something that is regularly used in most places because it was not correlating to severity of symptoms. Sometimes you have a stage 1 disease with very severe symptoms and a stage 4 disease with no symptoms. And it was not also correlating to extent or complexity of surgery. So basically, we've moved out of staging to categorization and mapping of the disease. So number one, a proper mapping. Number two, not all endometriosis patients need surgery. That's important to understand that there are medical options to suppress it, not cure it, suppress it. And you can use long-term suppression options as well for a while. And treatment is supposed to be basically in a certain way. Treatment is supposed to be, one, individualized. Two, it is good to understand there is no cure, but it's more of to be managed as a chronic condition. The questions to ask ourselves when this type of patient come is, are we going medical or surgical? Number three is, what is the patient's goal? Is it fertility? Is it pain? Is it heavy bleeding? Or what are we handling? Or quality of life? The next thing to discuss is about lifestyle changes and the like. And finally, if someone now decides to go for surgery, then now we decide on where should this type of surgery be done, how should it be done, who is to operate on her, whether it's excision or ablation, because now excision is superior to ablation, who should operate, where should operate, what is balanced radicality, because these are young women who may still have fertility desire. You cannot get rid of the uterus of such women because they still want to get children. Sure. You have to decide on nerve sparing surgery because the nerves are involved, and if you damage the nerves, then this patient will have a very miserable life, not able to pass urine, not able to pass stool, not able to have sexual intercourse and any feeling. So this is the type of things. And then how to avoid repeat surgeries. The first surgery should always be the best surgery. There's no question about having repeated surgeries for endometriosis. And it should always be laparoscopic. There is no question of an open surgery for endometriosis. So these are things that are supposed to be discussed.
Do we have the right treatment for the disease here in Kenya?
Yes, and I believe you can probably gauge from the way I'm discussing that this is definitely something we do here very regularly. But it is not available probably to the extent that is required for a country like ours, maybe with over 14 million women in the reproductive age group, giving you a rough estimate of 1.4 to 1.5 million women probably and girls in this country, even as we speak, having endometriosis. So I don't think we have enough people dealing with such disease, but yes, we have the full-fledged available options, completely A to Z, that is possible in any part of the world, whether it is thoracic, whether it is abdominal, whether it's bowel, whether it's ureteric, whether it's the bladder, whichever organ is involved, it's very possible to handle it here locally.
Okay. People tend to confuse PCOS with endometriosis. Is PCOS a sister to endometriosis?
Not at all. Totally different conditions. Okay. One is a hormone imbalance condition and one is a chronic inflammatory disease.
All right. That's a very informative, Daktari. Maybe your final words to our viewers and also where they can find you.
My final words, number one, endometriosis is not a death sentence. So my support to women all around the world and in Kenya especially, if you have been diagnosed with endometriosis, do not give up. It is not a death sentence. And number two, it is not a statement that you will never have children. Endometriosis women should have children and they can get children. Endometriosis is known for delayed diagnosis, so education and awareness is key. Diagnosis is very, very possible in all aspects and in details with imaging by an ultrasound to map the disease in expert hands. it impacts day-to-day life, but please remember treatment is available even in Kenya. It should be individualized, tailor-made, driven by your goal, but ideally by endo experts in endo centers which are multidisciplinary in nature. And treatment could be medical, surgical, or with combined lifestyle changes as well. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Daktari. And before you go, there's somebody on the comment section who is asking, does endometriosis affect men or is it ladies only?
There are very few anecdotal cases of some men who have been diagnosed with endometriosis because of some tissue that could be aberrant, but it's not regularly seen in them because it is related to the estrogen hormone production and related to obviously endometrium-like growth tissue, which is not regularly seen in men. But there are anecdotal cases of some men who have been affected. Yes.
All right, Daktari, where can our viewers find you?
I am attached to Third Park Hospital, which is here in Nairobi in Parklands area. It is a center that is a specialized endometriosis center with a multidisciplinary team that can handle all cases of endometriosis. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Yamal. We really appreciate for that information and also for sensitizing us about endometriosis. We really appreciate. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, Maggie. Have a good night too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. That is OBGYN Dr. Yamal Patel on matters endometriosis, and I hope also you've been educated. Now on to matters politics. President William Ruto has dismissed Kenya's opposition as leaders without an agenda, warning that they will disappear in the grass the moment he officially launches his re-election campaign. Speaking during a development tour of Narok County, Ruto said his current visits across the country are focused on delivering projects, not politicking, but cautioned that his rivals will struggle once he shifts into full campaign mode. He also said Narok Airport will be ready within months, while his administration is investing 2.8 billion Kenya shillings in last-mile electricity connectivity and billions more in affordable housing, modern markets, and student hostels across the country.
Wale watu ni vibaraka, wameambiwa ati wakuje wapinge mimi, wapinge SHA, wapinge barabara, wapinge housing. Mimi nataka niwaambie nyinyi watu wa kutumwa, watu wa vibaraka wa mtu fulani, nyinyi tafuteni sera, my friends. Hawa wananchi wanataka kuchagua sera ambayo itawapeleka mbele. Wanataka agenda ya kuwapeleka mbele. Wanataka mpango ya kuwapeleka mbele. Hapa Narok tuko na jamii zote za Kenya. Musikubali viongozi ambao wanataka kutuletea fitina ya ukabila. Sisi tunataka tutembee pamoja kama Wakenya, kwa sababu umoja ni nguvu, kujitenga ni udhaifu. Wale watu ambao hawana agenda wanatuuzia sera ya siasa ya mambo ya ubaguzi, mambo ya chuki, mambo ya ukabila, mambo ya fitina. Sisi tunawaambia Kenya hiyo haiko na sisi tena. Hawa wananchi wanataka kuungana, wanataka barabara ijengwe, wanataka stima waunganishiwe, wanataka watoto wao wasome, wanataka matibabu hospitalini.
Tuko na historia mbaya ya Narok County. 1992 kuna watu wengi waliumia. So wakikuja na hiyo mambo yao, waelewe ya kwamba sisi hatutaki ukabila.
The Political Parties Disputes Tribunal has handed a temporary win to rival Linda Mwananchi factions, allowing both sides to reserve their party names even as the legal battle over the Linda Mwananchi brand continues. In preliminary orders issued during a virtual hearing, the tribunal cleared the Edwin Sifuna-led group to reserve the Mwananchi Party, while also permitting the Liberty National Democratic Alliance Linda, associated with Fancy Othuku, to proceed with its registration pending the outcome of the dispute. At the same time, the PPDT directed the Registrar of Political Parties not to consider, process, or register the name Linda Mwananchi or any substantially similar variation for any other person or entity until the appeal is determined. The two sides entered into a consent agreement allowing both the Mwananchi Party and Linda to move forward
What we are
while the
fighting
case
for
is pending,
is
with the matter scheduled to return before the tribunal on September 14th, 2026.
What we are fighting for is not a party. We have parties. We are fighting for our brand, our name.
Recognized by the law of the land and recognized by the office of the registrar of political parties.
The registrar of political parties haven't confirmed that our client complied with every other thing.
We are students of Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga had plan A, B, C, D.
On to international news, Tanzania's main opposition leader Tundu Lissu is now in the defense stage of his high-stakes treason trial after the High Court ruled last week that he has a case to answer. Lissu, chairman of Chadema, was detained in April 2025 and charged under Section 39(2)(d) of the Penal Code over remarks he allegedly made at party headquarters calling for the 2025 general election to be stopped, which prosecutors say amounted to inciting the public to prevent the election. The treason charge carries a potential death penalty, but Lissu has told the court that the case is political persecution arising from his decades-long fight for a new constitution and electoral reforms. In his defense, he has named 11 witnesses he wants to testify for him, including President Samia Suluhu Hassan, former Vice President Philip Mpango, former Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa, and senior security chiefs, prompting strong objections from the prosecution over procedure and the appearance of top state officials in court. The three-judge panel has adjourned the matter to allow Lissu to continue his testimony, with the case expected to proceed later this week. Before we wrap up, I want us to read some of the few comments here on our YouTube page. Emily Agatha, how are you? Thank you so much. Happy Crelia, how are you? Blackjack Media, Asanti. Kelvin Jogona 1107, thank you. Zippy, thank you so much. Also, I'm seeing Amolo Duncan Mbago, thank you. Naona mwingine hapa, Sharon Kawala, asanti. Dapama, thank you. Miriam Mwangi, asanti. Pauline, asanti. Amos, thank you. Catherine Omondi, asanti. Celtic Kido, thank you. Metri Nekesa, nakuona. Unasema uko ndani, thank you so much. Also naona Elikana Wafula, thank you. Unasema nice, tuko ndani. Msabi Ann, unasema alo alo, how are you? Thank you so much. Also naona mwingine hapa Zippy. Naona tunasema hauna maoni, wewe nakuona sana. Also Carol, I'm seeing you. Thank you so much. Blackjack Media again. And yeah, by the way, alikuwa anauliza stories to do with endometriosis. Thank you. Kelvin Jogona 1107. I'm also seeing you again. Nashukuru sana. On that note, I want us to wish Natalie Githinji a quick recovery. Also remember, you can wish her quick recovery hapo kwa comment section na itamfikia. And also pia kwa the social media platforms zake, please wish Natalie quick recovery. Natalie Githinji from Obina TV studios, we wish you a quick recovery. Healing is your portion in Jesus' name. Remember, each and every time on Wednesday, 7 p.m. we have Kelvin Nyakundi, and 9 p.m. yours truly. That's all that we had for you today. Until next time, may God bless you. Goodbye. God bless. My name is Maggie Jumia.